Okay, with that, we're live, guys. Welcome back to another edition of the Female POV. This is episode number 3. We've got a brand new host of ladies, and I have my esteemed colleagues, TC and Spence, here with me tonight. Sorry we started a little bit late. That's on me. Ran into some things. My show ran a little bit late earlier today, but I was really cooking, so I just had to do it. If I lose my voice at any point tonight, I'm going to turn it over to the boys. But anyways, ladies, thanks for coming tonight. We appreciate you being here. Let's do a quick round of intros. Anna, let's go ahead and start with you. Just as a reminder, it's your name, where you're from, how old you are, what you do for work, and then your current relationship status.
Okay. Hi, my name is Anna, whatever you like to say. I am 33. I live in the Tampa Bay area. Currently not working. I was modeling professionally for several years, and I'm currently single.
Okay. Kira, on to you.
Hi, I'm Kira. I'm 21 years old. I am from the Niagara region in Southern Ontario up in Canada. I am a model as well as I have my day job, and I am currently in a relationship.
Okay. Angelina.
I am Angelina.
There you go.
Based out of Los Angeles. I am an actor, model, business owner, and I am also currently in a relationship.
All right. Stephanie.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm 45 years old, and I am single.
And what you said you're retired, yeah?
Oh, yes. I am a retired nurse, retired model, and I am in the Southern Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky area.
Cool. Nanella.
Hi, guys. So I'm Nanella. I'm based out of Toronto, Canada, originally from Venezuela. I'm in sales. I work for an artificial intelligence company called Amplify. Then I also have my own business. I produce beauty pageants, so I empower women to know really their worth and just help them grow within themselves. That's what I do. And I have an 8-year-old daughter. Love being a mom too as well. And I'm engaged.
All right. And Hala, finish us off.
I'm Hala Nelson. I'm 44. I am a math professor and author, and I have my own tech company in the AI industry. I am married, and I have a 15-year-old daughter. And I think those are the questions you asked.
Yep. All good. Cool. Ladies, again, welcome to the show. I've got a lot of good stuff for tonight based on, stuff we talked about backstage. So guys, if this is your first time on the show or if you're first time watching, what I like to do before we go live is ask a couple of questions of the ladies behind, the stage. We talk about what they think their red flags are, maybe their green flags, hot takes on dating. It helps to, help get the show off the tracks, so to speak, or off the rails. So I actually want to start with something that Nanella said. Like I was gonna have it start with something else, and then you mentioned you support or you run pageants, right? You said you run them or you sponsor them, or what exactly is your involvement?
I actually run them. So I have 4 different international franchises, and I have national licenses here in Canada.
And so you said that is about helping women realize their worth or their power. Like, what do you mean by that?
So, beauty pageants have changed through all these years. Now it's not just about beauty. That's really your example of life, what you think, who you are. And so when these women actually compete in pageants, first of all, it's just so hard to be up on a stage, even speaking in front of people. So they actually built a sisterhood here, and they start realizing other skills, other talents they have. They grow professionally and also personally. They start seeing that, they can be better at something that they didn't know, but they start knowing their worth. They start knowing, hey, listen, I'm a woman that I was able to be in a bikini here. So I'm able to be a doctor. I'm able to be a psychologist. People would tell me that I'm not able to do that. Well, I know I'm able to do that now because not just they build maturity, but they start seeing who they are from within, right? Because we all go through different stuff in our life. And so this type of pageantry and pageants that, we host here in Canada just helps them to truly identify who they are. And that's how they become more empowered and they grow within.
Why do you, maybe you do, I don't know. I'm guessing using context clues that you think this change and this shift is a good thing.
Of course, because I always say
Yeah. Curious on why.
we're in constant learning. I think every human being is always in constant learning. And so when you start knowing who you truly are, and people sometimes they come and tell you that you can do something, and you start seeing that you can actually do that and be a better person and be better at what you do, makes you realize that you're powerful in your capabilities and anything you put your mind to. You know, sometimes we just need to build that worth to truly know in our identity. I think it's character. You build character. I think that's what it is. You start building character and you start knowing that, you know, you're more capable than anything. You can achieve and conquer things.
What do you think guys look for in women? Like, what do you think guys are evaluating in the women they want to date and or marry?
Yeah, I think I said this before, but I think a man looks into a woman that's very feminine, that can be a woman. You know, nowadays we come to in my own opinion. Nowadays, sometimes, you know, because we women are sometimes more empowered. Yes, we are very empowered, but sometimes we feel we can do more than a man can. I think we're multitaskers by nature, but I do feel that a man needs to be, you know, a hero, and a woman needs men to be that for them. So I think they have to look into someone that's still feminine and lets them lead with purpose.
So that's kind of the issue that I'm having here, right? And the reason I'm asking this question, it's because if the whole goal of these programs are to empower women or to show them that they can do things better than men, or that they might even be better than men, or they can go into very high paying positions that are on the same level as men, and at the same time they still want to be women in their feminine and let a guy lead, like, how are we not setting up these women for ultimate failure if their goal is to find a guy to get married to? Because women generally want to look up to their man, right? Like, she doesn't want to look down on him. So it's like is pushing them into more high paying roles, is pushing them to be more educated, is pushing them to do these things and embodying these roles that are traditionally reserved for men. Is that not ultimately potentially setting them up for failure? Because what we're really doing is we're shrinking the available, or we're shrinking the dating pool of men that they're ultimately attracted to. Like, if she comes out of being a doctor making $250K a year or whatever, she doesn't want a dude making 150. She wants a dude making 550. So, like, how do we reconcile that?
Very good question. Well, you know what? Let me take a step back and say that we women are always minority in many things. So, for instance, I work in the technology, artificial intelligence world, where men lead more, right? And so being a woman in this type of field, you're a minority always, because sometimes even though you can be empowered and you're super smart and you know what you're capable of, there has to be a way on how to be heard, and sometimes egos come across. So coming back to what you're saying, I do feel that women, yes, we need to be empowered, but we have to also understand our rules. And that doesn't mean you should feel less than a man. I think you should understand that if you want to be successful in a relationship, you need to understand what your role is, right? And not, like you said, like, okay, if I'm a doctor, but let's say I fell in love with, I don't know, a person that's maybe not, it's in another field, you know, yes, I do have a higher paying job, but there should be a compliment between both of you. That shouldn't also make a man feel less. Does it make sense? That's what I feel towards
you. You still believe that the man should be leading the relationship?
Absolutely. There has to, yes. The man should always lead the relationship, because if I'm leading the relationship, then as a woman, I feel like I don't have purpose. You know, men's are to be providers. Men are to be there to help their woman. You know what I mean? We are great mothers by nature. We are great partners. We are affectionate. We are loving, but we also need to be led, right? And that is just purpose within a relationship. If I'm leading, then it kind of sets me back, and it just doesn't give me motivation or interest. And I'm doing everything. I might as well just be by myself. That's the way I feel or think.
Holly, you got something?
Yeah, it's because I hear this a lot. Like, I have a PhD, and I am in the tech industry, and I've done. But the way I did it is even when I was studying, I still prioritized at that age when I was in my early 20s to have a family and to have my child very young. And then I always, when I had her, she was my priority, so I homeschooled her, and I kind of put my career on the back burner. And even though everybody told me not to, and you're kind of ruining yourself, what you're doing, you're smart, blah blah, and I just didn't listen to any of that because I felt like you can never get back the time when you're able to have children and raise them and be with them. So once my daughter grew up and after homeschooling her, then I focused on what I like to do. And I thought that I want to do something that I would help the world with. And, I know math and I know AI. So I started kind of doing that. And my husband travels and stuff. And I'm alone at home and I love him and I love my daughter and I'm always there for them at home. But I also do this after I've made that side of my life very, very happy and settled, if that makes sense. So that's how it ended up for me. Like, I always felt like it's really important to have my family first. And then, like, whatever happens later, it will happen.
I want to.
Do you have a response to that? Yeah, please.
So I totally can relate because you go through different seasons with dating. My history, I got married at age 20, and my children are now 19 and 23. And so in my 20s, I was looking for different things than I am now. So sometimes we look for caretakers, sometimes we look for providers, and we go through different seasons. But I think once women see their worth, they are true to who they are, and they get to the point that it's taken me this long. I'm 45. It's taken me this long to get here. Once you live with who you are, it's easier to find your other half and figure out whether this point of your life and for the rest of my life, I want a good even balance of a caretaker and provider. But my preference is more towards a provider type because I've been a strong, independent woman for a big majority of my life. But also I do see the value in my partner and the other half. And going off of that, sometimes people's other half is not the other sex. And so I think that's something too, people need to sit in their truth. For me, I know it's a man. And I think there are some men and women who don't realize that their other half may not be the opposite sex.
Did you walk
For
in
the
on one
record,
of your ex-boyfriends with another man?
What? No. Okay. Yeah. For the record, that no. This is just generalization. This is not. There's no specifics at all here. It's just a general observation. And it goes for women too. Sometimes I know women who have dated men, and I'm like, I think maybe you'd be better off with a woman. But I mean, until you sit with your truth and you figure that out. Oh no, my light went off. Then, yeah, you gotta be comfortable with who you are and your sexuality and who you're looking for. Quantum entanglement. Look it up.
Just so we're clear, we're talking strictly on the show about heterosexual relationships between men and women.
Okay.
So
All right.
Appreciate the aside, but we're gonna get back on.
We'll
the
be
track.
back in. Reel me in.
I've got a couple of bones to pick. I'm not sure which one I want to go down first. I'll bring this. Actually, it goes both to what you're saying, Stephanie. It goes back to what you were saying too, Nanella. And I'm curious because I know at least Hala, you're in a very long-term relationship. Angelina, I think maybe she was having some connectivity issues. I want to ask her, but let's back up and let's start here. So there's this big thing that always gets talked about, like, Nelly, you mentioned it. You just mentioned Stephanie, like knowing my worth. Like I know I know what I bring. I know my value. Who determines that? Like, do you determine your worth or value, or like who? I mean, because like this is going to be kind of a rhetorical question, but isn't the value or the worth of something dictated by the market and whatever somebody will pay for it? Like I can list a house for $1 million, but if it doesn't sell, it's not worth $1 million. If I don't sell it for, if I have to sell it for 250, it's worth 250. I might think it's worth $1 million. So like, how do we determine our worth or the worth of women, so to speak?
Yeah.
We don't let other people do it. That's a big thing. The right person will come along and see our value, and we don't have to be on the market. That we don't have to be flashy and add all this superficial things. If you are who you are, and you talk to someone, get to know them, and then exchange pictures or what have you, then that's like a love is blind type of thing is way better.
It's not, right? Like there's no such thing as love is blind. Like we know that's not.
It's not.
We know that's
No,
bullshit,
no,
right? Like,
it's not. No. What I'm saying is, I feel like a better approach for beautiful women, especially, is for you to talk to them before you see them, and then you can see them and see if there's a physical attraction and go from there. But that's just my preference.
I think you know your worth by, your life brings so much. You learn through your life so many things that your negotiables and not your non-negotiables. As a woman, you know your worth because you know what you can bring to the table. You know what you can bring to a relationship.
but if nobody's buying it, it's not worth anything, right?
Well,
This is what I'm trying to get at. How do you, who said you? I don't get to point. I don't. Hold on.
Your identity.
Hold on. I don't get to point at the guitar on this back wall and say that's a $10,000 guitar if nobody will pay $10,000 for it. It'd be like, well, it sounds really good and I take really good care of it, and I haven't played it that much or as much as I should have, and it's just that's how much it's worth. It's worth $10,000.
You're talking about the physical, and that's physical. Yeah, that's physical.
Regardless of the traits, whatever it could be. Like my guitar has a beautiful soul. Right, I could say that about my guitar. We could talk about metaphysical traits. I'm just talking about
what you can bring towards a relationship. If you can bring stability, if you can bring maturity, if you're an open person that can communicate, if you're a person that's patient.
Who says men are looking for any of those things?
Oh, 100%. Men want peace. I know for a fact. Men want peace. Unless they're toxic and they just want chaos every single day. I mean, there is this kind of trait. I'm sorry.
And that's why it comes back around to people being authentic and being themselves. You engross yourself in the things you like.
That's the second thing I have a bone to pick with. But keep going.
You get back into your hobbies, get back into what you love, because a lot of women lose themselves along the way. We have kids, we have careers, we have whatever. And once you are loud about who you are and you go get yourself into the things you like, you'll find the right person who likes the same things as you. And then you can live a nice, I won't say nice, a nice, I don't know, a
stable,
a better life, better quality life.
Yeah.
Find who evens you out.
And here's my issue with this. Again, we have a lot of women that come on the show. We have a lot of women that say these almost exact things, and that's okay. That's also part of my point, right? Like, a lot of you women say the same stuff. A lot of you go towards the same trends. You buy the same clothes. You do what's in style. You do the same TikTok dances. You do kind of whatever is the popular thing at this given time as far as pop culture goes. Not every woman across the board, but biologically, women like to go along with the herd, and it's a survival instinct. It's self-preservation. It's not a negative thing. So, and I'm curious for Hala, this is kind of a question to you. I wanted to ask this to Angelina as well. But my guess is that over the course of your marriage and your relationship with your husband, you have adopted or you've started to like a lot of the same things he does: TV shows, music, art, political candidates, all of these things. Am I right? Am I on track? Okay.
Yes, totally on track.
So if that's the case, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Finish your question.
Well, I was leading to this next part, which is if that's the case, and what I've found is this is usually the case, and this is the case of most women, if not all the women that have been in relationships and marriages on the show, they all seem to agree that when they get into a relationship, they adopt the same mannerisms, lifestyle choices, everything we just mentioned. So what good is it to go off finding yourself if when you find a man that you're in love with and you are head over heels with him, you're just going to do exactly what he does anyway? So like, aren't you just wasting a lot of time with this self-discovery stuff?
Yeah, you are, in my opinion. But I'm not conventional in that sense. I feel like all this talk about self-discovery and self-empowerment and you name it, I don't understand any of it. I think it's way more simple than that between men and women. And I told you backstage, I think it boils down to like 3 things with men and 3 things with women. And if they find it in each other, then any life can be built together. And yes, I did adopt a lot of my husbands, even though I never think of myself as a very weak person or whatever, because I do know that I have self-worth and everything, but I don't like overthink it and know what it means. And and it doesn't mean that my husband did not sometimes have problems with me or me problems with him, but it is life. And if you don't overthink it, then you have a really good life, because you have these 3 things that I told you about before. So
Real
And
quick,
right
back
now
to
would be
Stephanie or
beside-
Nanella, and then I want to move on to something else, but I just want to give you a chance to respond to that.
The right man will be beside you. And it's not that we're changing for the men. We like to learn. We're constantly evolving. And so when a man has different interests than me and I learn them, it's because I want to. And
Yeah, I agree.
it's not because I'm changing my worth or I'm changing who I am. It's because I love to learn.
Oh, it
And there's
happens
really cool
naturally. It's
shit to learn out
subconscious,
there.
right? Yeah.
And if you circle back around to you saying women are in a herd mentality, men are too. And you need to stop clumping everybody into one category, because there's not every woman goes along with pop culture. Not every woman is doing a TikTok dance, although I've been guilty of it. But same thing with men. Every man isn't a frat bro. There are free thinking men out there. So
Well, let me
Stephanie,
clarify. Go ahead, Spence.
what's that? Clarify what?
like you're right. Not everyone it can be grouped into one exact group like that. It's like I'm not going to be able to predict every single person's action. But when we look at an entire population, we can say that a majority of people will act a certain way or believe a certain thing or will like form some sort of group. For example, men are mostly interested in physical attractiveness.
For sure.
That is a like given. We can all say that. Now there are men who are going to say that they like other things, but we can pretty much say that most men are concerned with physical attractiveness. Hala, you asked your husband before the show what some of your green flags were. What was the first thing he said?
the first thing he said was hotness.
Boom, right there.
And feminine.
And
the next
and if we look at like these pageants, like Nanella, you help with pageants.
Yeah.
At a pageant, you do talk about a lot of the other stuff that you're into as well and that you're doing. But honestly, what's the number one most important thing at a pageant is actually physical attractiveness.
Right. And that's why I always say, what, Spencer, you're so right. You're so right. Because and even women, we cannot lose ourselves. We always have to look good, to feel good. When I see this and I've seen this through, family members, through friends, when we have children, sometimes we tend to lose ourselves because, you start prioritizing other things, which is fine. But like you said, a man, when they fall in love with you, they fell in love with you for your physical attraction. And so you both have to be a motivation to each other. You always have to look good for your men. I don't care. The physical leaves and the beauty leaves, yes. And then down the line, you start also appreciating and falling in love also with other traits, right? That you appreciate more, because then now later in years, I do feel that it's company, that you have to, if you're with that person and there's the respect and the compromise. Yes, they fell in love with your beauty, but you maintain yourself. I do feel like you cannot lose yourself in every way, mentally, physically. It goes with everything, right?
I'm actually a big fan of pageants for this reason. I support them because pageants support health.
Yes.
Swimsuit competitions, I am in favor of because they support health.
Yes.
An overweight woman is not going to win a bikini contest. Okay, that means that the bikini contest supports health and promotes women getting in shape. So I am for it. I am for it for that reason.
Like if you feel good, your relationship is also going to be good. When when we women tend to lose ourselves, and not even for the physical, yeah, you gain weight, this and that, but you start also being frustrated with yourself, you're gonna take that onto your partner. And this is when problems come in the relationship as well. That's why it's super important for you to feel good physically, emotionally, and you have to look good to feel good, right? It'll give you also, let's talk about also health. Yeah, it gives you more time with your children, more time with your partner, more time to do things. It keeps you just motivated. So I do feel like, yeah, that is super important. And men always look by the eye. I'm sorry, but that is the truth. Men look by the eye. It is.
So no fat
yeah.
acceptance in your pageants.
No, I mean, no, listen.
We had 70
You can
girls
say
at
no.
Swimsuit USA
No.
in Mexico.
Listen.
70 girls there. There's not one of those girls that isn't like that is overweight, that is not healthy.
Culture
Every
plays.
single girl there is in shape, is healthy, and they all made really good friends there. So I like pageants for that reason.
And I think culture plays a big part, ladies. Maybe you guys can see this, like for instance, I'm from Venezuela, and from little they told us you got to look like a Miss Universe, you got to look good, because Venezuelan women, they get up, they get ready, they look beautiful, they take care of themselves. It's just, I think also culture plays a big role in society, because then you have other parts of the world where they said, okay, you know what, in culture maybe you cannot show your face because that's how it is, respectfully the religion. So it plays a huge role here in many ways. So yeah.
So none of this addressed my question, but that's okay because we want to move on. We might come back to it because I mean it was amazing how my question didn't get answered. I'm impressed every week at how that happens. I want to go to Kira next because Kira, you've been very patient. I appreciate it. You had said something really interesting. I've actually never heard this from a guest before the show. Generally, like women will say they're either, like the 50-50 and it's a partnership and all this kind of stuff. But it's rare that we have women that don't think men should be doing like leadership, traditionally men roles, and the opposite for women. So you kind of said like there's a leader, there's a follower, there's a caretaker, there's a protector, there's a provider, there's a whatever. And it doesn't really matter who fill those roles. It can go to either the man or the woman. Can you just expand on that a little bit? Because I've never heard that before. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's honestly just whatever fits for whatever person. If you're a woman and you want to be the provider, you love your job, you love the money it makes, you love being able to provide the household, the food on the table, the keeping the lights on. If you love doing that and you want to find a man who would prefer to, take care of the home, stay with the kids, all the stuff that's typically a more feminine role, then c'est la vie. That is what you like. That is what you want. And I believe that as long as the balance is there, even when there's like a 50-50 relationship, if you split every single financial thing down the middle, split every household thing down the middle, the balance is still there emotionally with, who happens to be the protector, who happens to be the more nurturing one. It's still there emotionally.
How's a woman going to protect me? How can a woman be the protector?
I have no idea. I guess you just have to find somebody like maybe Rhea Ripley.
I guess so this is all good stuff. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met, or do you know anybody personally, any woman that has ever said, I want 50-50 and I want to lead, I want to be the provider, I want to be the breadwinner, I love telling my husband what to do and how to wipe his ass and all this? I'm being a little facetious there. But have you met a woman that actually wants that? I never have. I don't think Spencer has. I don't think TC has. I've never met a woman that is like, I like it. Or I want to do that.
It is rare. I think I only ever met one, and it was like, a passing conversation in a grocery store where she just said, you know what, I don't want to do the traditionally feminine things. Again, it's not common at all, but it's to each their own situation, right?
So would you say it's more common? Would you say it's far more common, maybe astronomically more common, that men generally or women generally want men to lead, want to be the provider, they want to look up to their man, they want to see him as a hero?
Yes, but the problem is there are an exuberant amount of men that do not want to be that anymore, and that is.
We'll get to that.
Time,
You're getting ahead of me. I know where you're going. You're getting a little ahead of me. We'll get there. Promise. So that being said, side question. Do we think, and everybody can just nod their heads yes or no for this. I'm hoping there's one nod yes, but if there's no, maybe we have to talk about that. Do we all here believe and think that men and women are better together than they are apart? Just nod your head yes if you think that. Everybody say, oh, Kira, not so much.
You can be fully okay with, being the old crazy cat lady or the rich aunt that travels and spoils all her nieces and nephews. A man can be perfectly happy and content on his own, doing whatever on earth he wants. And it's one of those, like, yes, it may be an outlier, but there are definitely folks out there who would be happier and better off alone, in their own opinion, than with a partner, anybody that they want to be with.
That's such
So what's really interesting about this, and I respect the answer, we're still kind of proving my point here, right? The consensus is that men should lead and women fall into line with leadership. Men are the providers, men are the breadwinners, men are the provisioners, men are the protectors, women follow the lead of a man. So isn't it better overall that we communicate messages to both men and women that enforce those beliefs and that enforce those things and enforce the imperative nature of men and women being together in these natural roles that have always moved society and human civilization forward? Isn't it important to teach things and tell things based on the vast majority of what'll happen, or like versus the outliers, right? Like if I say the sky is blue, nobody's gonna, and how annoying is the guy that's like, oh, well, sometimes it's gray when there's clouds out, and like sometimes it's, black when it's dark. I'm not saying that's you. I guess what I mean is, like, does it do any good to us if we focus so hard on the outliers?
I'm struggling to answer this properly because, like, there can be so many ways that I can answer this wrongly, internet-wise. But
it's the internet's unforgiving. What do you mean? They love. Nobody will ever yell at you for anything you say online. Go ahead.
I do believe that we should still be enforcing the way it has always been. There is a beauty in tradition, I find, and I was also raised very traditionally, and it's kind of like a lost thing. It's a lost concept in the newer generations because, there are men that they don't want to be the leader, provider, or anything else like that, and there are women that do not want to be led or provided for, and that's to them. But I believe that there is a lost dynamic, there is a lost connection from the previous generations that we could fare well bringing back.
I want to jump in here. So you said that, like, a lot of men nowadays don't want to do like what men traditionally did, right?
Yes.
So what was it that women traditionally did? It was have children, right? What percent of women do you know under age 30 that are not interested in having children yet or at all?
I am personally best friends with one.
So I think it's like approaching half in the West, where like half of women are like, I'll do it later. It's not a priority. So this is the same as whatever percent of men that don't want to do their traditional role, right?
There is, yes. And if that's the way they want to live, that's the way they want to live. It's, oh my goodness, how do I word this?
Just send it.
It's been a long day. Yeah, there's people who decide, no, I don't want to have kids. I don't want to stay home. There's people that decide, I do want to have kids. I do want to stay home. And I am losing the thought as I speak it.
So
please, save me.
No, I actually feel like we shouldn't like be saying, oh, this is this they want to do this. Some people are like this, some people are like that. I feel very strongly about this. I feel like if we destroy the family, then we destroy our country, and then there is nothing.
There's no foundation.
And people are going around not having families, not preserving them, not having kids. Then what? It's self-elimination as a country, and I feel strongly about that. I feel like we should be having children and prioritizing families. And then everything else can wait after the family, you know, that's the core.
And
Yeah,
it's
we
one
had
of the-
six.
Sorry.
We had six
Here,
ladies
Good CC
on
real
the
quick.
start of the show, and we have between the six ladies that we started the show with, there are 4 children. It's like we are fucked. We are completely screwed.
As a
Like
country,
for 6 ladies, we need at least 12 children
we need
that like make it to adulthood.
yeah, I
So
agree.
like
100%.
4 for 6, we're fucking screwed.
Yeah, I mean,
I-
other countries can just wait and then that's it. They will outnumber us and that's it. We're done, right? We should not be thinking like that. We have a duty to our, you know, existence and values and everything, you
Yeah.
know?
Kayla, I want to say that I think just traditional values are being missed and lost nowadays. And also, again, culture plays a huge role here. You know, like when I now that I you know I've been in Canada since 2003, so many years. But then I started seeing my friends who were still in Venezuela or friends that were in Colombia. They were already getting married at 20, having kids at 21. They're still married. They're building their lives. And then I have friends here who are still not married or don't have kids, because I do believe that traditional values are being lost in today's society. And you know, respectfully, I respect everyone's opinion. I don't go against them, but I do feel and I do agree with Hayla, right? With Hayla that you know we should have families, we should get married, we should you know and build the life we want with our partners the way we think at most of what we should be doing, because foundation should be there. If not, we're just, I feel respectfully, we're living a mediocre life.
But Nanella, you are by definition not traditional, right? You're just not. So
Yeah.
like
How would you say that?
think about your position, think about your stature, think about what you do for a living.
Nanella and
Think
the
about
Nanella in the
think-
inside. Nanella,
no,
like,
because no. You run
forward.
businesses. You say you're very independent. You are very
Absolutely.
into. Okay, those are traditionally not feminine traits.
no,
No, they're not. Hold on, let me explain. So
okay.
to be able to succeed in business, to be able to succeed in highly competitive environments, to be able to succeed in certain areas of society, you need to embody certain traits. In business and in things like this and making money, it's dominance, competition, the ability and willingness to work very long time with little break or no break at all, without any thanks, without any pat on the back, a highly, highly domineering, a highly, highly, highly competitive environment where having which are traditionally masculine pursuits, especially because men have always competed for status, for resources, for everything that they're going to help build a society with. Those have never traditionally been areas or roles or environments that women have partook in or much less succeeded in. So what I'm trying to figure out, it's like you say you want to get us back to tradition, but nothing you do could be viewed as traditional.
No, because no. That I don't agree with what you're saying, because as a woman, there's always two sides. As Ninella as a business person, Ninella as the relationship person.
Yes, everybody has a personality for work and everybody has a personality for home, but you can't turn it off.
No,
you talk to your husband a different way than you talk to people at work, of course.
I work in an environment where there are men leads. I told you, women are the minority. But you want to know something? I still hold my values. I still show them who I am. And that's why I've been holding my position for a long time and people respect me. Because I believe that when you do have your values and your morals, you stand up for them. That doesn't mean just because I'm self-empowered and that I still believe that, you know, I work with men every day. I'm just very wise on how to
Nella, what about you is traditional? Explain to me, please. Because you keep saying like I have my morals and values, but I don't know what you're talking about.
Traditional. So like I said, I believe in marriage. I believe that, you know, women have they have to be feminine and men are providers and leaders, and women should overstep on that. I think you should be an addition to that. What else can I tell you? I do believe that those are my traditional values, you know. I think it's important to have children, and I feel that, you know, being an example to your children, being an example as a woman, it's also being able to help your other partner grow too as well, right? So those are my
No,
traditional.
I don't agree with that either. I'd love to talk about that. I want to come back to that though. Anna, you've been really nice and patient. I'll come back to it, I promise.
Okay.
Anna, what do you like? Do you think we're villainizing each other here? Like, do you think we're talking like, just in this, because you mentioned like, genders are villainizing each other. Are you talking about really, really over the top stuff, or like, what do you think about our conversation so far? Like, are we just talking past each other at this point?
No, I love this conversation. Nanella, I'm a former pageant girl.
Oh,
I
love
love
that.
everything you're saying. I think honestly you're very feminine. From the way you speak, like I feel like I can feel the feminine. I can feel it from you.
Thank you.
Like I think pageant, like I'll just like interject and I'll get back to what you were saying. Pageants really are about self-empowerment. I never felt so confident and empowered as a woman just in who I was than when I was doing pageants and the sisterhood. They're incredible. They're absolutely incredible. So I wanted to say that earlier. So, but in regards to our conversation, I think in today's society, like with the media, yeah, it's very sensationalized that both genders dislike each other. No one's getting married. No one's having kids. Everyone's alone. Everyone, wants to marry ChatGPT, like whatever we're reading online, these days I read the craziest things. I think there's something missing though. I really think that when I'm online, for example, because I'm in my 30s, like when I go online, I see a lot of like, oh, I hate this gender. I hate women. I hate men. Oh, men are trash. Oh, women ask for too much. They're this, they're that. No wonder we don't want to take you out for dinner. And it's like it's such negativity, and that's part of our problem. Like I just think there has to be less negativity. Not all men are bad, not all women are bad.
Right.
I see it everywhere. Like there's so much anger. There's a lot of anger in this world. And I think some of it's due to the climate in our country, other countries, etc. Not even politically, just in general. But I think, not to sound so kumbaya, but I really think the genders need to come together because we have to stop villainizing each other. Like the red pill, pink pill, extremism doesn't work. It just does not work. I think both genders have their place, like yin and the yang. Like, I really do. Like, not all
But hold on. The
people are
point
bad.
is that I want to say, like, the
Yeah.
yin and yang are well established. They're not interchangeable.
sure.
Like, men are
For
the
sure.
yin, women are the yang.
Yeah.
Right?
for
It's
sure.
not like this thing that we can just change or there's a certain shade. Like, I agree,
Yeah.
men and women are complementary, but I think
for
the
sure.
whole problem is stemmed around this idea that we're trying to swap the yin and the yang. We're
Yes.
trying to
yes.
tell women to
We're
be
trying to
men,
put a
and we're
circle
trying to
in a
tell
square.
men to
Yeah,
be women.
Yeah. I agree with that. I see that a lot. It's like we're trying to put a circle in a square, and we're
I
like,
think
why is it not
we're doing it
fitting?
on this panel. I think some of the
Yeah.
conversations we've had so far can show
I
and
mean-
embody that.
I'm one of those people, like, whatever makes people happy, I don't care. As long as I'm happy, as long as whoever I'm dating is happy, cool. People can do what they like. But yeah, of course, do I go online and read a lot of negativity that I'm like, that's so, like, it really doesn't need to be like this. Yeah, I see it all the time.
See, this is kind of what we've got, I think, nowadays. We've heard it from a couple of the ladies. And this is a trait of women. This is a feminine trait. I don't care what someone does as long as it makes them happy, right? And like men used to be like, no, we can't just do what makes us happy or we're gonna fucking starve to death. So you gotta go do this, you gotta go do that, you gotta have some more kids because we're gonna be below replacement rates, right? And men in like modernity, right, like abandoning their duties, have basically stopped telling women, no, it's not okay to just do whatever the fuck you want. And I kind of want to tie this back to Nanella and Anna. You both said like the pageants empower women, right? What do they empower women to do?
Listen, when we say empower women, it's sometimes, okay, I'm just going to talk as a woman. Sometimes women, they have low self-esteem, okay, because we've gone through relationships. Again, we've gone, men sometimes, and huge cultural roles play along the way here. We've gone also through parents that have separated, so we grow up with different traumas, different things. And as a woman, sometimes I get girls that come into a pageant with low self-esteem, right? So when I mean self-empowering, it shows them and it helps them to grow with them, to understand, to love themselves for who they are, right? Because like I said, if you understand yourself and you start learning and to love yourself for who you are, you're going to be able to love others. Reflections. Mo, you said it. Okay, when you start dating someone, you start doing what they
But Nanella, you're not saying anything, right? Like we use these really vague terms that are completely meaningless, right? Like figure
maybe
out
to
who
you
you
it's
are.
meaningless. To me,
No,
it's
but like if you can say
not.
this and it means hold on.
Meaningless to
If
me, it's not.
no, but I'm saying if you can say something and it means infinity different things, then it really doesn't mean anything of substance, right? If I'm like, if we're saying find out who you are, like what does that actually mean?
Maybe. Okay. I understand what you're trying to say. Okay, so let me give you more context or explain myself better. Okay, gotcha. So they learn self-healing. Okay, we start healing when we are able to speak, when we're freely able to say, what we've gone through, or things that sometimes you can't share with everybody. So now we start healing, and then now we start seeing that we can accept ourselves for just who we are. We all make mistakes, we all go through trials.
I don't mean to laugh. You just did it again. You just
I
did
don't
it
know.
right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm not explaining myself properly.
No,
So fell off his
that's
chair
the
over
point,
here.
right?
He
Like,
completely
that's
fell
what-
over.
I don't know.
So earlier,
I want to put something out there for also probably controversial, but I don't like women always chasing power. Like, how would you feel about a man who's always say, "Oh, I want power. I want to be more powerful. I want to empower this power." Like, do you really? I mean, is that even something we want, or even you want in other people? Like, I feel like that's immediately not attractive to other people to want to be around somebody who always wants to be more powerful.
For sure, I'm with you on that. I don't think it's powerful to the world. I think when you said, like, when you empower yourself to be better, I think it's empower yourself to get up every day, to not stay in bed, to
Like,
get up
move and like be more happy and
exactly, be more happy,
calm.
love yourself for who you are, accept your problems, accept that you're not perfect, accept that you have conditions and that you can work with them. That's what I mean when you empower yourself to be better, to get out there. I know girls that wouldn't even put makeup because they just they don't feel they're pretty. So when they do come to these pageants, they start seeing that there's not just, again, the natural beauty, but they start seeing that they can be beautiful even by wearing lipstick. I just feel more radiant. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Well,
That's self-empowerment
this is
that I'm talking about.
this is what I was kind of getting at. So I think you said earlier, in regards to the pageants, like it empowers women. I think you said like, oh, maybe I could be a doctor, right? Like I could do. So this is what I was kind of getting at, right? Like the empowering of women is going to make them have less children, and then we're fucked.
Well, no,
So this is like, I think we need to empower women that motherhood is beautiful, right? Like bikini and doctor, like we don't need it. We need
I 100%
families and
see where
motherhood.
you're coming from, TC.
goes to your
But
values.
the
What
reason that I don't think that for pageants or for like competitions, like swimsuit competitions, for example, these actually promote health. They actually promote women being in shape, having healthier bodies, which makes them more makes them be able to have more kids.
Yes.
It gives them a higher success rate.
But we're not talking just about that. Like now we've already established there's all this other shit that comes into play. It's not just about being good looking and being in shape anymore. They're completely changing the entire scheme.
Except for, I don't know of a single pageant where the winning girls are
No. Obviously, like that's the thing. I'm not saying that. We don't have we don't have to slide to the extreme. I'm just saying like there's a clear and concerted effort and emphasis on not on moving more away from the beauty as the focus and focusing on the other things, like the
And
empowerment.
also keep in mind that just because they look healthy on the outside doesn't mean they're healthy on the inside. Just because you see a woman that you think is attractive because of her shape, that doesn't mean she's healthy. I know plenty of people, myself included, who my body has been rocking, but I have not been healthy on the inside. I have multiple sclerosis. I've had multiple sclerosis for 20 years. And I mean, just because the outside, your outside and inside doesn't always match. And I have
We're talking about outliers again. Like
Okay.
we keep going to
But,
these
like,
outliers again.
When I was speaking about healthy and in those terms, I was saying like a hip to waist ratio of what I don't remember what the numbers are, is like statistically better for having kids. And that is also statistically what men are attracted to.
And I think that goes to biologics. I think everybody is born. You have your genetic coding, your DNA, all that stuff. And not everybody, and I've seen it. I used to be a pediatric nurse and I was a home health nurse. And not everyone is, there are people born with both genitalia. And there are, your hormones aren't always one way or the other. So I think we're born a certain way and we are trying to find our other half, but as we're raised through culture, outside influences, culture, religion, politics, our family, generational curses, what have you, those types of things mold who we're looking for. And sometimes it steers you away from who you were born as, and you have to get yourself back to center. And also let me throw in that not only do I have 2 children, I have a 2-year-old grandson as well. I have a son and a daughter and a grandson. So there's 5 children coming from these 5, 6 strong women. And you got to find your other half. And sometimes it takes longer for others than it does for you young people who have found your other half already.
Here's the beef I have with all of that. I'm chomping at the bit over here. Stephanie, much respect for coming on the show. It's not easy to come on this and talk about this stuff in this way. I think though, I think the average person would hear everything that you said, everything that's been said up for the last hour and be like, God damn, all of that sounds really, really fucking complicated. All of that sounds insane. Like I have to worry about past this and letting them find out who they are and like healing themselves and being in love with themselves and then finding a half. And sometimes they're born with 2 body parts. I'm just making a joke on that one. But it's like sometimes there's this and there's all these other things that go into play. Fuck this. Like how confusing and convoluted is that? Versus if we just took an approach that we know works, because biologically it's our programming. Like we've already talked about that. It's the way that we've built the most successful human civilization ever recorded. It's the way that society has moved forward and giving us amazing advancements in technologies. Like the formula works and has worked for millennia. Why are we fucking with it? Why aren't we just saying, hey, men, women like leaders that are in good shape, that can provide and protect and give her healthy children and give her long-term security, and he's going to be hot, so you're sexually attracted to him for the end of time. Like, why can't we say that? Why can't we say, hey, women, men like fit, in shape, fertility-looking women that are pleasant and soft and want him to lead and make him feel understood and heard, and don't bring bullshit and unnecessary retarded drama into his life and make it more complicated.
Please, again.
Isn't that? But
that
isn't
sounds
that?
like
But
that's your formula,
but
Chris. That sounds like that's your formula. That's not everybody's formula. How'd you come up with that formula?
Statistically, it is a majority of people's formula.
Because Stephanie, everything we know about the natural world and how humans have ever made it and come together, and all the anthropology and the evo-psych in the world and the studies of human civilization point in these directions. Even all the way down to our art and our history and our literature and everything that's been created over the beginning of human civilization have gotten us to this point. And everything that we see aligns with those things. It's not until recently, do you think it's a coincidence that the same time where we're seeing this gender war and women and men don't know who is what anymore is the same time we get these crazy, insane, like convoluted things that nobody can really understand?
I
just
tell the same
go-
to
yeah.
my daughter. I have 15-year-old child, and I tell her exactly what you just said, Mom. It's not that complicated.
Because you had the 3 and 3, which I want to come back to, because somebody was asking about that in the comments too. But I want to give everybody else a chance to respond. I mean, Stephanie, you and I were kind of going back and forth, but anybody can kind of jump in on that.
Okay, well, I just think everybody, you just have to look at everybody's unique. Not everybody is meant to procreate. If somebody doesn't want to have children, they don't want to have children. Like Kira was saying earlier, it doesn't mean just because you want to have children, find somebody else who wants to have children. If you don't want to have children, find somebody else who doesn't want to have children. And I think, and I also want to make a good point. I feel like the male equivalent of beauty pageants in the world is sports. And I feel like that's where men display their strength. And I think that biologically and for mating purposes, if you are a person who is meant to procreate, beauty pageants and beauty is more of your pole, I guess, where you're going to. And for men who are meant to procreate, I think lean more towards sports. And I don't mean commercialized sports. I don't mean the Super Bowl, and I don't mean things that you see on TV. I just mean the competitiveness and the ability to get out your testosterone. Whereas with women and our nurturing way, and I speak generally because everybody's different, and I've seen it. I'm friends with men who live as women. I'm friends with women who live as men. I'm friends with all kinds of people, and you just have to find your other match. And generalizing people and saying that my idea is right is not, because I was born different.
Stephanie, I never said my idea was right. See, I can't let you put words in my mouth, because that's not what I said.
I didn't say that at all.
But you're making it sound like there's an ownership to the idea, which there's not. We just have the proven formula. 2 + 2 = 4. That's not somebody's original thought, or nobody can claim that as their idea. It's just math. It's just the way that things are and the way that the world has always worked. That's the only thing that I'm trying to say. Like, why can't we just be honest? Because things have worked fine. And now it seems, and again, like this whole idea
that's what you need to look at, Chris. Have they worked fine? Because look where we are now.
What do you mean? Do you think it's a worse time to be alive now than in other points in history?
I think there's toxic masculinity and toxic feminism right now.
That doesn't quite answer my question. I'd like it if you answer that.
Okay, what's the question?
I said, like, do you think that there is another time period in history where it's better than it is right now?
No, I think history repeats itself, and I'm very cognizant of pattern recognition. And I'm not saying now is better or worse. I just think it's up to us to break cycles, and a part of that cycle to break. This is my answer to your question.
You're not answering the question.
Oh, okay.
You're saying like history repeats itself. It's a yes or no question. Do you think now in the current time is the best time to ever be a human being alive? Like, do we live in the absolute best time we've ever lived in, or do we not?
Yeah. Whatever life we're in is the best.
But if there's never been a better time to be alive, then how can you say that we made mistakes along the way, or that look how we got us here, look where we are? You just said we're in the best time to be alive. So everything that's led us up to this point has got us to the best time to be alive. So clearly, without a counterexample, we can't make any other judgments otherwise. If you think life's better like in the 50s or the 60s, whatever, you could have to make an argument about that. But if we're sitting here saying it's the best time in the history of human civilization to be alive, that means that everything that has gotten to this point has worked. So why are we changing it and fucking with the fucking formula? That's my question.
I never said it worked. I said it's the best time to be alive.
We have the tools. It's the best time. What do you mean? I'm sorry. I don't mean to yell, but it's the absolute best time. What do you mean that's not working? If you said the 80s were better, then said now the 2020s aren't working, I would say, okay, make an argument for that. But like, how can we be doing the best ever?
Well, I don't know,
and
Chris,
that means we're not working. I apologize.
Lord.
I'm just trying to, like, how can the best time ever be something that doesn't work? Like, my car doesn't work. If it works, it runs.
What I'm trying to say is that we have all of the tools at our disposal It's up to you to use the right tools to find the right person, whether it means you get on a dating app. If that's for you, that's for you. Whether it's meeting in person, if that's for you, that's for you. It's the best time to be alive. We've got all of these tools that are digital and analog that we can find the right person for us. Whereas back in the day, there wasn't technology like we have women in AI here. You can utilize AI in the best ways. You can utilize Google, social media, all of that in the best ways to connect. You have to retrain your algorithm and get the right things in front of you. And I hope that makes sense. I don't know if it does.
Stephanie, I appreciate it. I won't lie to you, it doesn't. Like, because again, like but everything you just said, you have to realize this, that everything you just said is completely in the abstract. Like, there's nothing concrete or practical that we can take out of that. We're using these idioms and we're like tap dancing around points and saying things that can be interpreted so many different ways. Like, gotta find your person, gotta do like these like versus, why don't we teach people how to be as attractive as possible? Hey guys, lift weights, get a low body fat percentage, be strong, fucking take a shower, like shave your face, get a haircut, be masculine, don't be a fat fuck, like don't smell. Why can't we give practical advice that actually, like, someone's like, oh wow, okay, shower, I know what that means, I can go get in one. Like, I think this is part of the problem. Like, the language I think we use now is so vague that it can be interpreted so many different ways, instead of just saying, we have a very simple formula about how things work and how people are attracted to one another. Just do those things and you'll be fine. I think the problem is we've moved away from that. Now it's no matter what, how big or small you are, you're attractive, like healthy and attractive at any size. Be the boss babe, because men want to be challenged by women for some reason. And we can go on and on, but I don't know. I think that's kind of the issue, that we seem to not be able to have concrete conversations and tell people the truth. And people hear things like that and they just get confused.
I do want to interject a
Please.
little bit, because I do have some thoughts. When you mentioned the whole what we should be teaching, to me, that's just taking care of oneself. And no matter what that looks like for somebody, yes, I would pray that everybody showers as long as they are able
Kira,
to.
that's the difference. Really quick. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, why can't we just say take a shower? Why do we have to say take care of yourself?
Attraction is different for everyone.
No. Hold on. Kira, why can't we just say that? No, it's not though. Like, taking care of yourself. Why can't we just say take a shower? Why can't we just say wear deodorant? Why do we have to dress? Like, this is the whole thing. Why do we have to dress it up in these concepts that are so vague and anybody can interpret that? Because here's the thing, guys are fucking stupid. They don't know what take care of yourself means. They're like, get up out of bed. I can do that. Like, they don't know. Like, they might. There's stories that go back when guys first started to go to these like pickup artistry boot camps. They showed up with like crazy BO and bad breath. You guys weren't even brushing their fucking teeth and taking showers. Now, I'm not saying that's your job, but
In childhood.
no, I understand. But like, do you see how like we're still doing this? We're doing this like, however it works for you is the way that, but like, we know that's not objectively good. If everybody was just in charge of themselves, I mean, it'd be chaos. We don't let children like decide their own path. There's some guidance we have to have out there for people, no?
There is, and that starts with the parents, and it should be upheld with like, your support system. If you're not taking care of yourself and your friends can obviously see that you are not taking care of yourself, they should be like, hey, dude, or girl or whoever, I don't know what's going on, but this is what we've been noticing. This is what needs to happen. If you need support, we got you. But like, this is exactly what needs to happen. And it's like that with very many different areas. But
let me give you an example real quick. I'm going to ask the guys this too, but I'm going to save them for a second because this is derivative and I already know what the answer is going to be. But I don't know what your answer is going to be, Kira. And I'll ask all the ladies on the panel. Let's say you had a girlfriend that was getting big, like clearly like big, overweight, fat, letting herself go. We're talking, I don't know if we're talking Lizzo, but we're talking like Oprah. Like, she's clearly like, what are the chances you're going to have a conversation with her about that? What are the chances you're going to pull her aside and say, hey, like, you're really letting yourself go. This isn't good for you or healthy. This is really bad. We need to get this corrected. Like, is that a conversation you're willing to have?
if I met this girl and we became very, very close friends, and she was a size 2. And then in the span of a year, she went up to a size 16, I would be worried. Because that could be a binge thing with whatever mental stuff that you have going on. It could be something serious underlying the apparent issue.
What if it's over 5 years? Like, I'm just talking about, and the question is not would you be concerned, it's would you say something? Would you try to correct the behavior? Would you course correct?
Let me jump in.
Please.
There's something to wedding vows, okay? In sickness and in health, through thick and thin, richer and poorer, till death do us part. There's something to that. And if you're my partner,
Stephanie, really quick, we're not talking about partners. We're talking about girlfriends. I'm talking about you and your friends and your girlfriends, not your partner. That's not what we're talking about.
A partner right now.
I know, but I want you to.
Family friends.
Well, then, but that's not the question. So, I mean, like, we can get to that, but I want people to answer the question that I asked.
Yeah, can I step in for a second?
Please.
I'm very blunt, and when I have my friends, I'm very honest. If it hurts me, it's because I know I have to do something about it. It shouldn't hurt me to speak freely. Like, for instance, when I have my friends around, we've always said, listen, you got to change into this and you got to change that because this is not working. Or
in terms of what, like outfits?
Yeah, outfits, or, sometimes their behavior. Sometimes we can fight about stupidity.
What about weight?
Weight too. Like, I'll tell you, my sister, for instance, my second sister, she's now going to get a bypass in March. And that's because I've been talking to her for 2 years now, telling her, Rosemary, you need to change your lifestyle. You need to give, like, for your knees. I see it. You can't even walk anymore. When do you lose yourself like this? For your kids? Like, look, you could have been with us in Disney World last week. When I was in Orlando, you could have been with us in a roller coaster, having the best time of your life because you're still very young, but you're not able to do that. And it hurts me to see you like this. And, I have these talks with her every single day. I'm just very straightforward, and I always tell my girlfriends, if you don't like something about me and you think I need to change it, tell me it. I'd rather you tell me, just communicate it. I'm not going to get mad at you. Weight-wise, if you see that this is happening, hey, tell me. We need to help each other. And that's where motivation comes in. And so now my sister called me the other day saying, hey, listen, March 25th, I'm getting my bypass. I'm going to do it. You've given me the motivation to do it. Thank you so much. And I always say it from a position where I'm like, I'm not hurting you. I'm just trying to make you feel better about yourself and look at yourself, to give a better life for you. We women have something that is phenomenal, is motivation. Because we, like you guys said, we're when we have our kids, we're always the nurture type. Even for our partners, we're always the loving, the affectionate, right? So when we can motivate each other instead of hating for each other, we can actually build purpose with that other person. And that's the way I see it, right? Just be straightforward. Like you say, Mom, okay, what is this? Just to be simple. Hey, go take a shower.
Nanella, I think that's a
Not always
great
simple.
story. Like, it.
Seriously.
You're helping your friend. I think it's great. Now, I'm going to pose something. If your friend didn't respond that way and instead responded by saying, that's just not me. I am heavier.
Mhm.
I am going to be that way. That's me. I'm not like everyone else.
Mhm.
I'm not part of that group. This
Mhm.
is me. Would you have been okay with that answer?
To be honest, I'll respect it. I'm not a person to go against it, but I'll say, you know what? I don't believe you. Because if you would tell me that your weight can help you to do this, that you want to do so badly, but you can't do it because of your physical condition, you're going to tell me you're not going to change it. And that's when I start making them think. So don't tell me there's never improvement, because there's improvement for everything in life. I'm sorry, for everything.
So do you see how, if we were to say, find you, just find yourself,
Mhm.
do whatever you are.
Mhm.
Let's not talk about people in these big groups.
Okay.
If we said this, do you see how that can be harmful to people?
Yeah.
Of course, absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
depends on how you say it.
It depends how you say it.
Bingo.
It
And
depends.
therein lies the problem. Therein lies the entire problem.
The
is
problem,
that
well,
they want, like, men. If I was getting fucking fat and gross, Spencer, what would you say?
I would call you fat and gross.
It'd be like, dumbass, fix it, retard. Like, get
Yeah,
your shit
exactly.
together. TC be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you actually an imbecile? Like, fix your shit yesterday, you fat fuck. There's a certain weight and efficiency to the way guys communicate that sometimes, like, this is, it's not as important to women. And this is what I just heard. It is not as important to women to communicate the actual information as long as it sounds nice. It's more important for it to be said in a nice way than for it to be said at all. I think that's an issue.
I think to say it in a constructive way,
because we're healers. We're all
But the
about.
point is, if the outcome is the same, why does it have to be constructive? I mean, losing weight itself is constructive. Like, losing weight and
No,
getting
it's not.
healthy is intrinsically constructive.
Those two aren't one and the same. Losing weight and getting healthy are not the same. I have
On a
been
balance of
on-
probabilities,
about
it's
someone who's overweight.
far more likely. Like, losing weight is almost never a bad decision for your health. Almost
yeah,
never.
but you need to decrease. There's a big, as a nurse who's gone through her health journey in getting my multiple sclerosis under control, you have to get your terrain right. You can't just get on a GLP-1. You have to understand the biologics of getting yourself healthy. It's not about losing weight. It's about getting healthy. And that's where the narrative needs to change.
Stephanie,
Yes.
So in my
Yes.
family,
But you constantly just want to talk in these, like, tiny corner examples that are not applicable to the vast majority of the population or people. Like, that's the issue that we keep coming back to. It's like, I sympathize with your plight. The vast majority of people don't have MS. Like, I think to sit here and for me to say losing weight is almost never a bad idea is not only correct, we can back it up with statistics. The vast majority of people in this country are overweight or are obese.
The vast majority of the women have
vast
autoimmune
majority.
disorders.
so
Okay.
Because they're
whatever
pounding
that
seed
means.
oils and processed shit.
quick.
Hold on, I just want to finish this point. Hold on, I want to finish this point, and I'll get to. I want to just finish this point. My point is, like, we can give general advice that is good for the average person, but when we continue to water things down to the lowest, tiniest corner and lowest common denominator, all it does is confuse people, because it creates all of these unnecessary complexities where it's like, make sure you do all of these 95,000 things before you ever decide just to drop 20 pounds. Like, I know that a BMI scale is a generally okay to use for the general person and general population, like well over 75, 80%, 90, maybe 90% of the population. I don't think it does anybody any good to try and talk about these really tiny, small, minute things that don't apply to most people.
Yeah, can I say in my family, the way the women tell each other how to be slim is they say the difference between a woman and a man's body is the waistline. So if you lose that shape that looks like that, then you are not, looking good for a man or for yourself. You lose your womanhood, basically. So they would actually check, like, show me your waist. Okay, you still have a waist, and that's it. So it doesn't have to necessarily be exactly how much the weight is, but that shape of the feminine, if you lose it, then that's it. So I tell the same to my daughter, the same my mom told me, and the same her mom told her, is never lose your waistline, never, except when you're pregnant, obviously. But
I do agree with that, and to go back to this, guys, I just think the way we should speak to people, and again, this goes back to not attacking people, because you shouldn't attack people, because sometimes
Why not? Why shouldn't we attack people?
I'll tell you why. Egos are huge. Now we're talking about egos. No, 1 second. When you talk to someone, people have prides and egos. But this is why I always say you gotta be wise on how to speak to men, on how to speak to women. I think wisdom is something that we lack in society, in my opinion, respectful to everyone. But when you're wise on how to speak to others, not hurting their egos, not attacking them, you get through them. And I think it's tolerance. People nowadays don't have tolerance. You know what I mean? You and I can think differently, but if we understand that we come up from a place of tolerance and not attacking each other, and we can communicate openly, we could be better. We could be heard. We can hear better. Because when you attack, you can't hear others. You're like, okay, don't talk to me anymore. You know it's true what they're saying, but don't talk to me anymore. You close yourself.
So can we agree that men and women communicate differently?
100%. Yes, totally.
So
Totally.
wouldn't it be beneficial to give advice to men on how to communicate with men and how to communicate with women differently than, I mean, wouldn't that make sense? Like, shouldn't we tell men how to communicate as men and how to get that to work? But we should get them to lean into their natural male communication skills versus
But you
trying
also
to
have to listen
make
to
them
us.
turn into women. What do you mean?
You have to listen to us. You
What
don't
does that mean?
listen. You don't listen. And I know women understand when we tell you stuff, we're telling you that out of a place of love and a place of healing. And sometimes you're not in a place to accept that. And when you're ready to accept what we're saying, then you'll accept it.
But that's not what we said, right? Like you all said you're more concerned with tone and how you say it, not where it comes from or the intention. Because the intention is the same. If the intention is to get somebody to lose weight and get their health in check, regardless of how I say it, the intention is the same. Like it's the same if you say it in a certain way, and it's the same if I say it. But the only thing that's changed is the tone and how you say it, not the intention. So that's I think is kind of the problem, where it's like men aren't taught to communicate like men anymore. Men are being taught that it's not acceptable to communicate like men anymore, where you can just call somebody a fucking pussy for not working out today, or you can tell him that he's being a fat fuck, he needs to lay off the cookies and get in shape. Like men should be able to talk about that like men with other men. But
And men
that
should
seems
also
to
be able to cry.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
I promise I'll get you the next.
Sorry.
Because I want to get to the next. But I think that that's the exact kind of behavior that people want to label toxic. And I think that's the way that men talk, the way they carry themselves, the locker room talk, right? The bullshit. The way the guys talk to each other is these guys are getting their fucking nuts cut off. And you guys want to know why all these men want this passenger princess? Because society's clipped their nuts. Because they said you're not allowed to do shit like that. And you're not allowed to pal around with the boys and say retarded and faggot and shit like that. I'll probably get flagged for saying that. But you're not allowed to do that kind of stuff like men have always done. We have to feminize this entire culture. So, and I think that goes into the point, Stephanie, of like men should be told they should be able to cry. It's like, there are very few instances that I would ever tell a guy to cry. And because there are implications that come after that a lot of women aren't willing to be honest about or don't understand. And I think that's the problem. We're not allowing men to just be men anymore. And if we said men be men, I think men would be men.
But I think we women should never change men. Men
That's not what you said before the show, though, Ninala. You said you should be able to tell your man how to grow and how to do this and how to do that.
What?
That's
I never
different.
said that.
Help him grow as a man, or
Girls,
you said
ladies,
something
have I
along the
ever
lines.
said that? Have I ever? I've never said that.
Did you?
Women
Well,
should never
let's
be-
clarify. You said something before the show about or it's like even during this, like it's your job to help push your man or like make him better, right? Like
No. Maybe
okay, we'll have to rewind it back because I'm like 99% sure you did.
Rewind that because I think you misunderstand me.
Okay, clarify for me.
I've always said this: women should never change men. Women should never change men. There's ways.
Should women even give men advice at all?
Listen, I think as a woman, you can give advice from your point of view. Now, don't change a man. I think there has to be education. Both people educate each other on what you like, what you don't like, how we can compromise. Let's compromise to see how things can work. That's what I feel it is. When you come from that sense, I mean, I see, Muff, in my relationship, this is what works. I don't know if you have a relationship, but in my relationship, this works. You understand? And I see it. I don't attack.
No, I don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
What specifically works?
I don't change a man. You can't change someone. They have to. People change because they want to.
Do you think women should give men advice at all? I don't.
Well, if your man
you?
comes and asks for your advice as a partner, your advice is valuable. You could give advice. Now that you take it, up to you if you want to take it or not. People need to openly communicate in a relationship. Absolutely. If okay, so for instance, if my man comes to me and says, "Listen, what do you think about this, and that? Let me hear your advice. Let me hear your opinion." Or I think you should be able to freely communicate it. Yes. Now, if he wants to take it, up to him. I'm just telling you what I think. Now it's up to you, right? But I should.
My husband says I do what I want. Like, okay.
Fuck yeah.
So he's like, I do what I want. That's it. It's
Well,
okay.
and we've kind of come full circle. So at least one of the ladies expressed that modern men are soft, they're weak, they want to be princesses, they don't lead, and like how we got here was this like tone policing, right? Like this destruction of what traditional masculinity is, which is guys essentially beating the shit out of each other in this hierarchy of competence. And so it's like when you are like, we need to watch how we say it so we don't offend someone, like this fucking ruins men and makes them into women. And then all the women are like, all these men are weak losers. Like, well, yeah, I mean, this is kind of going to happen when you tell us don't be men.
No, I think men
Or whatever you're thinking you do is toxic.
No,
Because that got brought up. Like, what's toxic masculinity? Like, what does that mean?
Well, do you want to know? I told you my red flag is being honest. Do you want me to be honest?
That's the
You
only
have
thing I
toxic
want you to be.
You,
Please.
Chris, have toxic masculinity. The way you are throwing slurs out there, talking about women's weight, saying stuff, that type of stuff, you got to bring that down. You got to bring
Let me
that
ask you
down,
this.
man.
So what about it makes me toxic? Is the fact that I'm talking about women's weight, or is it the way I'm saying it? Like, what about that is uncomfortable to you? If I talked about it nicer, would that make it easier to swallow?
No, because
So I'm just not allowed to talk about it at all, regardless.
no, just not. I don't want to. Not with me. I don't feel like it's at a place of good intention, and I don't know.
Why do you say that?
Because
What do you think my
anything
intention is? Let me ask that. What do you think my intention is?
Well, every time I try to talk, you talk over me. So there's that. So I think seeing the value in the other sex is huge. And I see the value of a man big time. I have a son myself. I have a father. I have a grandson. I see the value in a man 100%. But I want a man who's going to be emotionally intelligent and secure in themselves and can hear the truth even if it hurts. And that's not where everybody is. Not everybody is at a place where they can hear the truth. And I've been in a place where I haven't been able to hear the truth. So I get it. It's hard. But when I go into detail about this stuff, I didn't just think about it 5 minutes before the show started. This is a lifetime, 45 years of thinking about this.
Well, first off, I apologize for cutting you off before. I think there was one time that I did it on purpose is because like, I think I asked a specific question and you were kind of answering a different question. So there was a couple of things there I want to try to make sure I unpack, but it's like, and I hate to keep banging on this drum, but we're kind of doing this thing where we're talking in sort of these vague scenarios. And I think we can just go a layer deeper than that if we really want to get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. You talk about valuing something in somebody. Men value certain things in women. Women value certain things in men. I'm sure there are things that you value about men and certain traits that men have that you don't value. You certainly, I don't think, would value a man who is fat, overweight, or let's just be nice about it and say, doesn't take care of himself, maybe is fat, broke, lazy, doesn't do the stuff that he should traditionally do as a man. You don't value those traits. You value things like strength and provisioning and all those things we talked about. Or whatever it is that you value. I'm just kind of speaking in generalities. Men value certain things. Like this is also, I think, a problem where I think a lot of women are being told that men are buying things that they're not actually buying. I think women are being told that men buy, go get the boss babe degree, like go make a bunch of money, be a business owner, like accrue all of these accolades and these things and these material things and these domineering traits. Men are going to love that, and they actually don't. So it's not about, and I don't know how this ties into me personally. It's not that I don't. There are things that I value a woman for. There's things that I don't. There are things that I personally don't think that in most cases, I won't say every case, But in most cases, I don't think a woman really has a leg to stand on when she wants to give me advice about anything, because our lived experience is so completely and otherworldly different that she will never go through the world the same way I will, with the same lens, and be treated the way that I am as a man. Like, men and women are treated differently just because they're men or just because they're women. So it's like, if you'll never have the same experience, or you'll never go through and walk a mile in my shoes, like, how could you even give me advice other than advice that would work for you, which wouldn't work for me because we're fundamentally different at our core? It's like me saying, like, me telling a black dude what it's like to be black. I'm like, hey man, this is what you should do if you're black. It's like, well, how the fuck would you know? Right. So, or do we, I don't know. Am I still toxic? I don't know where are we?
So I just don't think necessarily we need to be giving each other advice. I mean, not that you shouldn't, but that's not the thing. I just feel like giving advice is the wrong way, because like you said, we haven't had the same, no two people's realities are the same. So,
That's
I
true.
mean,
Should women take advice from men?
I think it depends.
I think that just if you pay attention, you'll hear the advice. You don't need to come out and say, here's what you need to do, XYZ. You need to do XYZ. I think if you just talk about your own story, then people will take. I have taken bits and pieces from other people's stories and people I've met along the way, and I've taken what I've learned from them, and I've healed from it. And I think that's human connection.
Yeah, I think like men and women are different in that sense. Like you can get that from another woman, but you can't get it from a man, and you can get other stuff from a man that women cannot give you, your girlfriends cannot give you, but your husband will. And just to circle back to Moff being toxic, I did not feel toxicity from him.
So, and I want to jump in. So, Stephanie, you kind of described Moff's toxic masculinity as speaking the truth regardless of like what the other person thinks about it, like not considering their feelings. Yes.
Yeah, I think.
And I'm gonna let you go, but let me wrap this thing around here. And then you said like the important thing for men to learn is to be able to take the cold hard truth without getting upset.
Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's just men. I think it's everybody. That not just men, but I think that brings you back to center. I think going back to the toxic masculinity and toxic feminism, I think there's two poles, and you need to get yourself in the center and balance out your energy to find your other half.
Do you see my confusion here, though?
Sorry, can I just say
I do. I'm trying to.
I think this is more simple than that. Men just want to feel respected, valued, and admired. In my perspective, and women, we just want to feel loved, understood, and nurtured. I think
you're right. Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I feel this is what it is. You know,
men want their women to be useful. Men don't really care. No, it's different though. Men don't necessarily. Women love the fifis. Like, women love to feel like their man loves them and have those like nice, warm, mushy stuff. Like, men don't care about that stuff as much. Like, men don't get the butterflies as much. Like, men look at relationships far more logical and practically than that. So no, I mean, I don't think we're disagreeing, but you know, I'm just thinking like it's even simpler. I think we can even go a layer even simpler than that. It's like, you know, that's the stuff that men really look for. It's like practicality. Like, are you useful? Like, are you a compliment to my life, or do you bring drama, and are you fucking annoying so I can't get work done, or I got to do other bullshit? So
again, just peace.
I tell my daughter 3 things as well. Like 3 you want from your man, and 3 he wants from you, and then you'll be happy. Any man, any woman together with that, I think it will be okay.
And I do, and I believe that love doesn't sustain a relationship. You know, there's more about than love in a relationship.
What do you think is the number one glue that holds a relationship together, and why?
Communication and respect. Because if you communicate what, you know, you're when you communicate effectively, people can understand better. Then we're respected. I think so.
What do you think it is?
Communication is key. If
I
you don't
think
communicate, then you're going to be frustrated.
I'm gonna get everybody's answer on this.
I don't
Hala, what
think
do you think?
communication is
What's the
that-
number one glue?
if you're in a married relationship, then definitely.
Relationship, yeah, marriage, relationship, whatever. What's the glue that holds it together? Like, what's the number one most important thing to have that holds the whole relationship together?
Compromise. For me.
Definitely physical attraction between married people. If you're not married, you don't do that. If it's number one glue and I only have to say one thing, it will be physical attraction.
What's
Kira,
number
what do you
two
think?
after
Go
that, Hala?
If you're a woman to a man, then yes, you have to be very useful because he already has his life. He already is on his mission, and you're like, okay, I'm there too. So you keep me, and I keep you. So, but again, it's us to them, them to us. That number to you, I think you are useful in his life. Very, very, very helpful. Very loyal. Not yeah. Kind of.
Loyalty. That's number one, I think, too. Loyalty.
Well, which wasn't it, Nella? That's your third answer.
I don't know. Well, loyalty, I think,
You
is
said
number one. but
communication,
nobody wants to
loyalty, and
cheat it.
what was the other one? Go ahead.
Listen. For men, again, loyalty is number one, and also in men. Because if you cheated on a man, that's it. Women, if women get cheated,
You know, it's not number one for women.
for women, it's not number
It's
one.
not.
I think for men, loyalty is number one.
We're getting somewhere.
Would be. It is
Kind
always
of. We're kind of getting there. But it's like.
egos and prides, and I think loyalty is not. No one wants to be cheated.
But
And
this
I-
is.
I don't think
I'm
so.
looking, but I'm thinking this is much more like without it absolutely fails. Like without it, because there's men that take back women that cheat all the time or that get two-time. Like the loneliest of men will not walk away from a cheating woman. Right. So we're getting there, but again, I don't want to give it away too fast. Kira, what do you think of this?
That actually fails, I think, not because the man doesn't want a woman who's disloyal. Because there's a lot of men out there who just don't have options and they will take the woman back, as Moff just said. It fails because if she steps out, she doesn't want him anymore.
I don't think there's just one thing that we can say, and the other ladies have said this same thing. It's different. I think if you only look at one thing, you're going to fail in your relationship. You need to look at all of the things, not just physical attraction. And this is just my opinion. I think it's got to be all the things: the communication, the respect, the physical attraction. All of those things come into play to make you thrive in a relationship, and you're both useful to each other. I want to be useful to my man, and I want my man to be useful to me. Like you're yin and yang, like you said earlier. Like
physical attraction is super important, but there's so many good-looking women out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's so many good-looking women out there.
That's why I said in America.
But I think men just want to be. What I think for men, it goes more than that. It's like for them to be always men, not a woman, not an alpha woman to overstep on their masculine. Can you say the word?
So far, you're all wrong.
I don't know.
We'll get to the right answer here in a second.
I don't know.
Take.
I
Anna,
mean, when a man loses himself to be man, I think, what the hell? They're gonna stay there as what?
I feel like a lot of people put so much emphasis on communication, and I think it has almost zero value. If you ask me, I think if he is providing what you need in life and you're providing what he needs, even if you talk to each other like once every God knows, I think it works. I think it lasts, and you value him. I think people, again, your man is not your girlfriend. You can communicate with your girlfriends all you want, and I just don't see it the same with men whatsoever. And I have brothers, I have my husband, I have my nephews, I gave birth to a girl, but not a boy. But yeah, I don't think women and men communicate the same. So people say communication, it's just not gonna happen. But if you're getting what you need and he gets what he needs, then life is good.
Hala, is there a limit?
Hold on, I want to get
long you
Anna's
would go
answer
without
on this.
communication?
Hold on. I got to get Anna's answer on this. I want this to come full circle. Anna, what do you think is the glue that holds relationships together?
was thinking
Oh,
about
no.
it while I was listening to everybody. I mean, for me,
Your audio is cooked.
Yeah, the audio. I'm trying to think. I was just waiting for it to get
Kira,
better.
you're up.
You might have to come back out and come back in. I think Kira said, did you already say or no? No, it's your turn.
No.
Yeah. I am going to go with Nanella on this one and say it's communication, because with lack of, you don't get things off your chest. Let's say there's this minuscule problem, like, oh, you won't put your dirty laundry in the hamper and it's just right next to the hamper on the floor, and I'm sick and tired of bending down and picking it up, right? If you don't get that off your chest and you see it day in, day out, you're going to slowly build resentment, and resentment is what kills the relationship. So as long as you communicate what's going on, whether it's good or bad, nothing can get built up, especially not resentment. And in my opinion, that's what helps the relationship thrive.
What happens if I'm like a really good communicator, but I never pick my socks up off the floor? But I really communicate how badly I don't want to pick the socks up, why I shouldn't pick the socks up, why there's a lot more people on this planet that are better at picking socks up than me, and we should hire them. I'm communicating, but the socks aren't getting picked up. What's more important?
If you can effectively communicate to me why it is beneficial for you to look at the hamper and drop your socks on the floor right next to it,
Yeah.
you got it. But you need to be able to effectively.
See, that's a slippery slope, because I'll argue with anybody, anywhere, anytime about literally anything for as long as humanly possible. So again,
the grass is blue.
So now we have a whole house where all we have is laundry all over the floor, because all we ever do is, now we don't have any clean clothes to wear to work, but at least we're really good communicators.
My husband would divorce me if that's the case.
I think this is like so fucked. Like this idea of communication. Like, if we need to be communicating about shit all the time, we do not have shared values and we are not that into each other, right? Like, if the person you're with, if the man you're with or the woman you're with does something that annoys you, if you actually love them, you will just fucking ignore it, right? Same thing, vice versa, right?
Well,
like,
you pick your battles.
we need to communicate about this, all this.
When I say
you walk by the socks in the hamper, if you walk by the socks on the floor and you come marching in the other room and be like, you left your socks on the floor every day for the past 2 weeks, that is not a man you're into. Period.
I'm not talking
because if he was a man you're into, you would just pick him up and put him in the fucking hamper.
You should pick your battles. You know, you shouldn't be also communicating on stupidity. Yeah, I think you should pick your battles. You know, that's when men needs to feel respected and women needs to feel respected. If a man doesn't feel respected in a relationship,
What battles do you think are worth picking then? Because it's funny that you mentioned that, Nina. Just real quick, like, it's funny you mentioned that, because women are always bitching about housework. Like, that's the most common thing that they complain about, is like picking shit up after a guy. So like,
picking your battles. I think picking your battles is, for instance, let's not talk about I'm trying to say I'm thinking in Spanish this word and I'm trying to translate it in English right now, but it's not about like living with the living phase. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about picking your battles. For instance, it goes more than that. So if I see that my man is all the time giving more attention to women out there than you yourself, that's a battle I'm going to pick on. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily going to pick on, pick up your laundry, pick up your socks. Do this, do that. No, these are not things to communicate. These are external things. You understand? Let's dive more deep in. Or, for instance, you don't want a person that's drinking every fucking single day. So if you're drinking every day, hey, that's a battle you need to pick on. That's something you need to communicate. That's something you need to, hey, why am I going to be with a person that's drinking every single day and it's being drunk?
Right, but these are disqualifiers.
Communication doesn't solve the issue, though.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm not saying communication solves the issue.
So then it can't be the glue that holds the relationship together if it doesn't solve any problems.
Well, you both have to want it. If you leave your socks next to the hamper and you know that it pisses me off, then, and I tell you that clearly that it pisses me off, then have more respect for me and put your freaking socks in the hamper.
Yeah, but
Like,
dudes are dumb, right? Like guys are not consciously
necessarily.
like throwing their shit on the floor like, yeah, take that. Like
Yeah.
that's generally not how guys are acting. They're just dudes are worried about a billion different things like, can I pay the fucking bills? Am I going to close this big client? Am I going to be able to afford the rent this month? Can I put food on the table for my family? Is this guy going to try to fuck me over in this business deal? The last thing that we're thinking about is some fucking socks or some shirts
what
or
I'm
whatever,
saying.
or like the laundry.
Again, most of this
Right.
coming, you pick your pattern.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like with
Hala and then Kira. Go
yeah,
ahead.
okay. So I feel like I never pick battles with my husband because I feel like anytime you want to pick a battle with man, he's gonna be in it to win, and eventually you're gonna get destroyed, and your feelings are hurt, and it's a disaster. So you don't want him to just get in the mentality that he wants to win over you, because ultimately you're destroyed. So I don't really try at all to pick battles. What I told myself in the beginning of my marriage, like if he never ever changes a thing ever, will I be able to live with it without ever whining about it or contradicting him or telling him? So once I accepted the things that I'm like, I don't like it, but I'll never ever whine about it, then that brings, so that's kind of, you have to tell yourself, and picking fights with the man, he's in it to destroy, and I don't like it, and he doesn't. Nobody likes it. He will win the fight. He's not gonna think, he's gonna win because he has a different brain than us. In
I'm
my
gonna give it
mind.
over to Kira. And then I'm gonna give everybody the answer, but I want Kira to go ahead.
Yeah,
You got like railroaded about that sock thing. Like I was like, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to even things out with that. It was literally just the first thing that came to mind. Obviously, if I'm in like a marriage, I'm not going to be losing my brain over socks. I was just using that as a general idea. For some reason, that was the first thing that came to mind.
No, it makes sense. I'm just saying you'd be surprised that we hear that shit all the time.
Yeah, I'm just saying if there is a recurring issue that builds resentment, like, you know, he's giving his attention, time, love, affection to other women and not to his long-term girlfriend, his wife, his life partner, that is a problem that you would choose. If there is a drinking problem, like Lynella said, like
those are disqualifiers, right? Like those are not, that's not, you can't communicate with someone like stop being an alcoholic, right? Like this is something you can communicate with your spouse about, right? But this is what I was saying is it's not the socks, right? So like it's only the socks if there's something else he's not doing that's far more important than the socks. That's the only time it's the fucking socks.
Yes,
you're right. You're right.
So like if he's paying the bills and taking care of you and leading and protecting you and you feel safe and like all of this stuff, you're just going to pick up the socks.
Exactly.
It's only when he's like on the couch drinking beer, playing Xbox while you're working 2 jobs, that's when the socks are a problem. So it's not the fucking socks. It's him not being a man.
You only get annoyed with the socks when you consider it lazy because he's overweight and sitting on the couch. If he was in shape running a big business, you'd be like, oh, the socks are on the floor because he's busy.
Yes.
I do have a counter for that.
Hit it.
Because a man can be in the middle. He doesn't need to, like, you guys are more so going with the whole, he's not working, he's not doing absolutely anything except for just the game and all of that. However, there are relationships that are going on. I have been in one myself where he did have a job. He was working and earning. But then the second he came home, it was oh, hey. And then shuts himself over to his games and his alcohol and all of that. Didn't crawl into bed until 3, 4 a.m., waking me up, which I had a severe problem with. I do not like my sleep being messed with. And then, wake up and then start it all over again. That was the same cycle day in, day out. And the trying to say, like, hey, this is a problem. And if it doesn't get rectified, I don't know what to do with this anymore. So what if he is doing
I tell my men, anything I want them to hear about me, I tell them in bed. I don't tell them when
Well-
he comes in at home. I don't tell him right away when he's walking in the door.
Well, let me answer this
Let
for
him relax. Let's talk in bed.
let me answer this for Kira. So, like, what this is telling you is that a man that goes and punches the clock and then comes home and doesn't do anything after that is not attractive to you, right? So you need to find a man that doesn't do that, and then you'll be fine, right?
That's exactly where I was going with it. This is
So
a guy
he's
that is just
unattractive.
stagnant, and he's just 9 to 5 in it. He doesn't have any bigger aspirations. He's not chasing bigger goals, not on some greater mission, not on some greater purpose. He's just sleepwalking through life. You guys are on a boat together, and you're sitting in the middle of the ocean. That thing's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's
You're
like
not-
he's a pothead, not a heroin addict.
You're not going to talk to him about playing video games, and he's going to suddenly change from always playing video games after work to growing a side business. Like, that's not going to happen from you communicating
Never.
with him. That's going to happen from his own decision.
Yes.
Exactly, conviction. They have
You're not ever going to change him from that man who's just slightly a little bit unattractive to you because he's playing video games too often, into the man who is very attractive to you because he's growing a big ass business.
And that brings us back to the choice, right? Who you choose and how you choose them, and who you are and how you are with them. That's all what matters.
Go back.
I still
to
haven't
Kira.
given
She
the
wants
answer, but I'm going to go back to Kira. Yeah.
Mova, but I want to hear the damn answer now.
Hold on. I will. I want Kira to go. And then I
Kira's
promise I'll
dying to
say
say
it.
one more thing, though. I can
No,
see it.
Kira, one more time. No, she's been very
I love
patient.
what
Yeah,
she's
go ahead.
doing. Yeah, it's true.
I'll just be super quick. I was happy with the 9 to 5 punch the clock as long as things were happening where the providing was still happening. You don't need to be a crazy oh, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur and I'm gonna quarterly figures this into some other crazy financial mumbo jumbo. That's not necessary. That's not what was making me upset when it came to the whole video games and this, that, and the third. It was like, okay, you're coming back. I'm doing this. When you were gone, I did this, and this for you. And, I did my part. You did your part physically. Now it's time for us to both do our part for each other emotionally. And I wasn't getting that because he would immediately shut himself away playing his video games and he was being the provider, but he wasn't being the partner.
So can I say something? Because men, good thing that you're saying this. Men
I
natural.
thought you wanted to know the answer.
Sorry,
I'm kidding. No, I'm joking. Go ahead. I'm fucking around. It's fine.
Really,
I'm joking.
fine. 1 second. Men naturally, they're builders, right? Like if you give them something, they do for you, right? So they have to. I think you always have. A man has to always be motivated for the woman. If you keep them motivated, they're always going to do. Instead of you, changing them because you don't change nobody.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to feel motivated by the person they're with, right?
I don't think men should need that at all. Like, I don't really think women are jacked up sexually or like love guys that they have to tell to go work harder.
No,
to
you should never
motivate.
do
Like you
that.
want a guy that's already doing his thing. Like a guy he doesn't need you to tell him to go work hard and make money. He's gonna be like, if you're like, oh, like make sure you could work hard today, he's gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, yeah,
You should never
okay,
tell them
thanks.
what to do. A man should never be told what to do.
But like, what is motivation then? Like, how do you motivate?
No, I think okay, so if I see, so men by nature, and you're men, so you guys are men, you should know this.
Maybe.
Well, maybe, I don't know. But men by nature, they, women can motivate them to, for instance, when I've seen this in many men in my life, they're like, no, you've always been, a motivation for me to do this. And I don't tell them what to do or anything like that. It's like, you give me such motivation to do more on this because I feel like, this and that. I don't know. I've come across a lot
I
of men.
get it.
Yeah,
I understand that.
Just
I think this is going to be unpopular. I don't think men should do I think men should have a mission and a purpose that is solely and wholly theirs, and it shouldn't be their woman, and it shouldn't be their family, and it shouldn't be things that can be taken away or things that can leave them. I think that's the thing. It's like, I think guys that are like, oh, like you're my purpose for doing this, I think that's short-sighted, but we don't have to get into that. I want to give the answer. I've been dying to give the answer. I see. Annie, did we get your answer on the glue?
No,
I think you had audio.
have-
Damn it. All right.
So-
What's the glue that holds relationships together? Real fast.
Okay, so this may be controversial, but this is just something I've heard, and
Let it fly.
I think intimacy. I think if sex is, I hate, like, I want to be, if physical intimacy's gone from a relationship,
We
you're
forgot
toast.
to
You're
talk
done.
about that. Bingo. Intimacy is so important. That is so true.
If intimacy is not there and you are not connecting with your partner in that way, you're toast.
I agree. Bravo.
Yeah, it's.
I thought it was communication, Danella. What are we doing?
All the things.
Change your
all
answer
the
I
like
think
things.
all of
5
those things are
times.
so important,
know,
but
sex
if
is
you do not
important.
have that
Yes.
physical connection that's keeping you guys together, where you're connecting in that way, you're sunk. You're sunk like a battleship.
I have no more to teach you.
So
You are
important.
now the master. I have no more lessons to impart on you. You got it. You at the fucking buzzer. Anna
It's
nailed
true.
it. It's sex. It's absolutely sex, and it
Yeah.
goes back to this thing. Look,
Yes.
Well, that's what I said. I mean, I'm
well, physical attraction. Yeah, you were like, it was like sex light or whatever it is, and we were kind of getting there with a loyalty thing. But loyalty, like to a man, is sexual exclusivity and loyalty. It's not like, you know, don't be emotionally I don't know, like don't give your attention to some dude at work that wants to fuck you. It's like if you do something like if it's the sexual thing, that's because here's the reality of it. And like as unflattering as this to say, and maybe my toxic masculinity is showing, like, there's literally, if not for sex, there'd be no reason for men and women to interact ever. Like there'd be no reason for us to have ever interacted together one time. We would have just killed all of you. We would have hunted you for sport. Like you would have been extinct like that.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, that's exactly what I said. It does hold the marriage together. It holds anything. It is the one glue. And I actually say that to my 15-year-old. It's one glue and that's it, you know? I agree 100%.
It's true.
but it's sex because again, intimacy is in the gray areas, right? Like it's sex. Like it's sex.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
You know, I'm a
Look
peer
at that.
pressure.
My
I'm
work
like,
here is done.
I
say
agree.
that on the internet. So yes, that's exactly what I meant.
This is
My
good.
my
This is
work
good.
here is done. Stephanie, do you disagree?
So much other stuff that
No.
we
I'm not trying to pick on you. I just know you're mad at me. I'm trying to make our relationship better before this stream ends.
Oh, that's sweet. It's just 10 p.m. and I'm starting to fade. That's all.
I hear you. I know
That's
we've got
just my
we've got
nature.
about 2 hours or so.
Kira, do you disagree?
Yeah, go ahead.
I do not have as high of a drive, so like the actual act of sex is not something I look for, but the general physical intimacy, you know, being held, being shown that, you know, like for example, my partner, it's constantly whenever we're out, it's just the two of us, got a hand on something, whether it's my lower back, my upper back, maybe the back of my neck to help lead me through a crowd. I know that he is there, and his physical presence is, you know, I lost it, but like basically he's paying that physical attention to me, but
That's
it doesn't
part of the foreplay.
Thank
Right?
you. Emotional
Ew.
foreplay, essentially.
Yeah. Mhm.
I think so.
But it does.
Really quick, hold on, Kira. Like how
I don't know.
how
Did we
cool is your guy? Like is he cool with the term partner? And you guys use that like with each other, or is that like a
Yes.
strictly you thing? So he's cool with it. He's like totally.
He's cool with it. It's just something I prefer. I don't know. Boyfriend feels juvenile to me, and I don't know why. It's just it's been the way I've
My
seen
man,
it.
my guy, my dude. My dude's kind of bruh. It's kind of bruh.
Get off.
Like, what about my
He was
man?
flirting. I kept on calling him dude and bro, and he seemed to enjoy it.
Oh no, you're not bro, girl. That's
Die.
Kira, how long have you
your
been with this
pass is revoked.
I think when you say things like my man and my woman, it shows possessiveness, and some people like that and some people don't. Like I want a man who's like, that's my girl, that's my woman, like, but he can show it loud and proud without being loud and proud.
Exactly.
Yeah,
doesn't
but
always have to be-
women want that, don't they? Like, are
I
there
love
like
when my man tells me
shouldn't
that's
the
my woman.
woman like yeah? If you're a woman looking at
I
a
do.
guy and
I
he
do.
goes, you're my woman, and you get the ick, you don't like that guy. Like
Right.
if the dude that
I
you were
agree.
with, you're in love with him, and he gives you that, he claims you. Like all women love that, right?
Yeah.
Like
If he's the right one, it'll feel right.
He's like, oh, look, that's my woman. And that to me is hot. I think when he says my woman, man, I think that's hot.
so, women like being owned. Is that the women like being catcalled and owned by men? Is that like the synopsis of this
Read
episode
some of their
tonight?
books, man.
Is that the summary? I know. I mean, those books sold. They made $1 billion.
Kira, if you're on If you're on hormonal birth control, get off that, and it'll help your sex drive out a lot.
I'm not. I tried and it had me bedridden for like 2 weeks. It was painful and
Yeah,
horrible.
you might.
Yeah, that's a whole problem in itself. Men trying to tell women how to do their health care.
Oh yeah, big
I
problem.
Oh, but like birth
like-
control is really bad for you though. Like, can't we all agree on that?
Yeah, I agree on that.
It can,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not bad advice just because he's a guy. It's still good advice.
Yeah.
I
And I
would do
have to say, I'm married, and I just don't think a person with low sex drive will have a long-term relationship with a man unless you accept either him cheating or him having also very low sex drive, which is not very manly of him. And I think it's so important that it's like they said, there is no way. It is the one glue that holds you together forever. And so yeah.
So what do you
Well,
guys
before
Yeah.
before I was
as a man of
before I was told not to be a doctor, I was gonna say there's a lot of other like endocrine disruptors in our diet and lifestyle in our environment nowadays that you can look into too, because it's very uncommon historically for any human to have a very low sex drive. It's like only in modernity we're really seeing this.
You're correct.
I don't know. It's not something that's always on my mind. Do I have those days where it's, oh my goodness, I need to jump your bones immediately? Yes. However, I don't always act on it. And it's just,
And that should be motivation to be healthy.
maybe it could have been from, previous partners not feeding into what we were talking about earlier when it comes to emotional foreplay. And it was like, yes, I do want that, but it just came down to maybe not from who I am with. And, that's just, I got out of that relationship, whatever, but I can't explain it. It's the way I've always been. I have my days and I have my days where it's like, nope, not at all. Don't need it. Don't want it. I feel like that's normal. It's happening.
I tell my daughter just to be super duper physically attracted to the person, and that will make you always able to not able, wanting, and and two other things. But I think if you want someone, how old are you?
I'm 21, so
You're
I'm
very young. Yeah. You're very young. You're very young. So yeah, I would say that's something super important. And if it's one of your goals in life to be with someone forever, then that you need to think about that. How it doesn't last if without that.
Yeah, I do feel sex is very important for many reasons. It reduces stress. It helps you to get back into track with your partner. It's just the touch, the feeling. I think it's so many things that releases when you do have sex. I respect your point of view, Kirahan. I do, but I do feel sex is super important in a relationship. That's just my thought.
Yeah.
Let's start go ahead one more time.
Sorry, just to end it off. I do
Please.
follow my cycle, and I do pay attention to what's going on in my life and how it could relate to how I am functioning. I have been under a lot of stress. It could be that. It could be, things that
for sure.
and I do acknowledge that. And when I actually allow myself to feel at peace and, actually allow myself to be comforted, and I give myself what I need, but be it nutritional food or a calm night or anything that aids in that, it does help. So I am acknowledging what TC said, and it could very well be something that's going on within my life or in my diet or in anything else like that, but I'm not thinking about it to the point where it's like I'm actively working on it every single day, because I can't wake up first thing in the morning and think about that. It's okay, I have to wake up first thing in the morning and think about work, and then
Real quick, Spence, because we got to move on.
Yeah. Kira, how long have you been dating this guy?
Literally a few weeks, but so that's why 90% of what I am saying I'm relating to previous experiences, because like dating in previous relationships, just because of this being so new.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. I think the main thing about sex being the glue that holds it together is not that it's something that you have to be thinking about absolutely all the time. I don't think that's what many of the people here are saying. It's that without it, it falls apart.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It doesn't have to be there 24/7. It's just if it's not there, we're screwed.
Yeah.
But I also
Off, wrap us up.
my daughter that not to be physically with guys before she's married. So I am that person actually. So that's different subject.
Cool.
So I'm not
Want to
gonna
get to? Oh, go
I'm not
ahead,
gonna
Ali.
say, I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm telling you, oh, go ahead and just do all of that. No, it's I'm more conservative in that sense, and I tell my daughter to be as well.
All right, so I know we're getting close to time. Really quick, just going to shout out my guy Jack here, man. Jack, what's up? Glad to have you here. So, is there with the last? We're going to start to wrap this up. I know we're fading fast. You ladies have been real troopers. We've really powered through the last 2 hours. I think we could get way more out of this, but I think this is a good time to start wrapping up. What? And before we say, you guys are all welcome back. Like, more than welcome. Get in touch with Spencer. Would love to do a part 2 with this group or members of this group. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I would say, really quick. Do any of the ladies have any questions for us, like panel guys, or something that we might be able to answer or clarify that we talked about tonight, or just in general? And it's okay if you don't. I just always want to give that opportunity.
Do you learn from these conversations?
That's a
Do
good
you feel like it changed your mind sometimes on some of your convictions?
No, it's quite the opposite, actually. I think that every time I do this show, I get more and more convicted. I get more and more vindicated. I think that and I get more firm in my convictions about, we do this a lot. So the more we do this show, the bigger our sample size is. And the more often we see the same answers and behaviors and things repeated over and over and over, the more right we become. So it's like, there's so many women that come on and say the exact same things about all women are different and we're not the same and we can't judge a book by its cover and all of these find yourself things. That's why I'm so good at this, because I already know what you all are going to say half the time. So not really. I would say that's why there's certain things that come through that I can pretty much. I had a woman on, and I didn't even mean to do this. It's a very, very fast story. Single mother, mid-20s, and very, very boss girlish, ran a couple of companies, did a lot of good stuff, had to make a lot of money. And I asked this question on purpose, and I says, hey, what is your level of masculine guidance or any male leadership in your life right now? And she actually started getting emotional and started actually crying. At first I thought she was laughing. I was like, that's how fast of a change it was. And I think she said that her brother had died a year ago and her dad had died 6 years ago. So she has very little. So I see that there's a lot of times, and we didn't get into a lot of that tonight. But I've seen that there's a lot more problems with women that don't have masculine leadership, whether it's a strong family friend, uncle, father, older brother, husband, even. So that's just one example. But to answer your question, no, I hope this isn't confirmation bias, because I remain somebody that will, if you can change my mind, please do it. But it's every turn, it's kind of the same answer, and it's kind of what I've come to expect. So, and to be very clear, just to wrap, I know that's a long answer. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all. I think it's perfectly fine. I don't pass moral judgments. I think women are women and men are men. I think that there are certain things that women are great at. I think there's things that women suck at. And I think it's the exact same thing with men. I think we're all the same. I think we live in a world that really glorifies women to a point where you're not allowed to say anything about them anymore at all. I think that was kind of illustrated tonight a little bit. I digress. The point is, I love doing this. This is a lot of fun, but it really only affirms, at least to me, that what we talk about is true.
Awesome. Well, I think this was really good. Thank you, guys. I had a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks
well, if
everyone
there's
for coming.
nothing else, please.
Any other time
Spencer.
that you want to come on the show, please send me a message, or any girls watching, send me a DM. We can have you come on. You can bring your friends.
I do have a question, though, for you. You're a very interesting person. All of you gentlemen, too. What is your ideal woman?
Why do we get this question almost every week now? Why, this is a reoccurring theme now.
Maybe to you too, Spencer.
It is. I mimic the exact same things that Moffat said.
We've talked about it already tonight.
Being useful.
Being useful, being a compliment. Somebody that doesn't try to compete with me. Somebody that is just going to fall into my frame, and I'm going to be the leader. And what essentially the thing I think the most the useful thing for a guy is to find a woman that is crazy, crazy, crazy sexually attracted to him and will basically never tell him no, almost to the point where he wants to say no because it's almost like too much. And then also like somebody that's a compliment to his life that can be useful, whether it's to his business or whether it's just making his life easier in general so he can focus on the things that make money and move the relationship forward. And somebody that is even a trusted advisor, like not somebody that is going to make any decisions, but somebody where I'm like, hey, what do you think about XYZ? And then I'll take that into account because we all have blind spots. And then I ultimately have the final decision. And it's things that don't pertain to my life solely. I'm not taking like her business advice. I'm talking about decisions that will affect the relationship, like taking a new job, moving, children, whatever it might be.
Yes.
I'm ultimately making the final decision, and she's somebody that is smart enough to understand implications and consequences and things like that. That to me is an ideal woman.
Nice.
Have you found her, all of you?
I don't like to get into the personal and particulars about myself.
I sure have not.
decline to answer.
I
sure
am
have
out in
not.
these
You all ask
streets.
us if we're in a relationship with our current status.
Yeah, but this is my show. I get to ask what I want. I don't have to answer your questions. I'm asking the questions here.
Touché, touché.
I love
I
it.
Do you
will
see?
be
You're
clear,
not getting
I
off
am
the
out
hook.
in these streets.
Man.
It is not.
I don't think we can go down that rabbit hole. That might be a part 2. You can say it.
Well,
real
we'll
fast
leave it
with
at
your
this.
answer.
My ideal woman, my ideal woman
comes.
likes
Hold on.
sharing. My ideal woman likes sharing, and I have found hers. Yes.
Oh, very nice. Love
Plural.
that. Congratulations.
All right. With that, we had a great time tonight. Ladies, thank you so much. We're going to get out of here. We're going to be back tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for Navigating Modern Dating with me and TC. Let us know if there's stuff you want us to talk about. Drop some comments. We've been on a really good roll the last couple of weeks. We want to keep that going. So appreciate you guys commenting, liking, subscribing. All that stuff's good for the channel, good for the algorithms. And ladies, again, thanks a lot. We appreciate you being on. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Bye.